Hello everyone, today I'm making my first Undertale theory video. Sorry for the long wait with Deltarune chapters 3 and 4 releasing. I had to make some theories before Undertale. But now that I'm doing Undertale theories. But what will be my first theory? Well, I made a poll asking what type of theory the first Undertale video should be, and it ended up as a tie, but I do remember the first vote being for a normal theory. So, I decided to start off with a simple Undertale theory. That being, who hired Muffet to kill us? Now, there are two characters who are mainly talked about, Mettaton and Gaster. So, today I'm going to be debating which one of the two characters hired Muffet. Now, before we debate who hired Muffet, we need to know more about the person who hired her. Well, she thankfully gives a description of who hired her in her fight. That description being a person who can shapeshift, has a lot of gold, and has a sweet smile. These traits would help answer the debate. So, which one has more of these attributes? Well, this might be a controversial statement, but they both match both of these attributes. Mettaton has different forms, is rich, and has a sweet smile. Gaster has a smile and was probably paid a lot since he was the royal scientist, but does he change shape? Well, there's this theory by Cibles which supports the idea of Gaster hiring Muffet. In it, she says Gaster is redacted. Now, while her theories aren't the best, she still provides pretty good evidence because they both do speak in the same font. So, how are we going to solve who hired Muffet now? Well, there is one way to solve why someone did something. It's by finding out their motive. Now, we'll start with Mettaton since he says his motive. His motive being wants our soul to go and entertain humans. He also admits to hiring everyone to kill you. But Cibles did provide some evidence disproving Mettaton hiring Muffet by saying he only hired the enemies in the core since they don't work there. That is fair, but then, what motive does Gaster have? Well, Cibles said this for Gaster's motive.
At this point, we can conclude that Gaster hired Muffet to take your soul in exchange for a lot of money. Now, why would Gaster want your soul? Well, in my previous theory, which is still perfectly valid by the way, we've determined that the voice at the end of the genocide route is actually Gaster's voice. We've determined that Gaster wants your soul to put it into Chris in order for experimental purposes. If you want to watch the full theory, you can click the link in the description. Either way though, Gaster wants your soul, so he hired Muffet to take you. Now, in every ending of Undertale, Muffet fails. Whether it be during the fight itself, eating a spider donut or cider, or just killing her, she fails and she cannot receive your soul. This is why I think that Muffet is strangely absent in Deltarune.
Well, now that we have all the evidence and motives for Gaster and Mettaton, who has a better chance at being the one who hired Muffet? Well, it's Mettaton. Now, this probably isn't a surprise to most, but the main reason for Mettaton being the one to hire Muffet and not Gaster is because of what Muffet even is. You see, Muffet is a Kickstarter character who ended up not having a major role, and Mettaton, while being important, isn't as lore-heavy as Gaster. Furthermore, Gaster doesn't really exist in Undertale, and it would be weird to get some random spider to kill a human instead of someone like Sans, Papyrus, or one of his followers. Now, I think it's time to talk about how wrong Cibles' theory is. Now, I get that she isn't a master theorist, and at the end of the day, she could be correct, but the biggest problem of this theory is her not realizing Muffet is a Kickstarter theory. I mean, she compares Muffet to Glide and So Sorry, two characters who only exist because two people paid for them to be in the game, and Muffet is also in the game for the same reasons as those two, but because she isn't a secret boss, she automatically assumes she's an original character. Cibles, if you're watching this, I don't hate you or your content. I just want to say you should stick to the content you're doing now. I mean, your most recent theory is definitely better than all of your old theories, but it's literally just a shortened version of piles of Israel's dust. If you want to do theories, then by all means go ahead, just do better research, and if you're going to make a crack theory, have it either be original or see if a certain crack theory is possible. Anyways, sorry to everyone who's not Cibles for this long tangent. This theory has always bothered me for a while. Oh yeah, I have a joke answer as to who hired Muffet. It's actually meta for her backer hiring her to be in the game and the description being what the backer wanted her to say. But this is probably not true, but it's probably not false either. Anyways, I think I'll end it here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.